we have joining us Chuka Nwachukwu is the chief dealer, group head, trading UBA. Chuka, it's good to have you on the show.
Good afternoon, Will.
Chuka, the CBN, we're seeing that, extension of the BDC recapitalization now to December 2025. Is there a risk now that saying pushing the deadline yet again, will it signal possibly weak enforcement on the part of the CBN, or could it spook foreign portfolio investors as we're seeing right now?
Thank you, Will. I think basically we need to understand the essence of the policy. The policy is as a result of CBN trying to regulate the broad exchange market. Before now, that market is highly unregulated, and so a lot of things happen within that market space. Starting from speculation. I mean, of course, speculators who more like speculating against the dollar, and that obviously kind of like affected the demand, or affected us, or actually what's the reason, one of the reasons for the weakness we see in naira. So another aspect of it is also in terms of insecurity. Try to cope some of these finances of the terrorism and all that. So CBN thought it wise to stabilize that market, and then to, of course, make it more efficient. You recall that prior to 2015 or 2008 precisely, the central bank also regulated the deposit money bank, trimmed it down from over 100 banks to about 25 banks we have today. And so that brought a lot of efficiency, a lot of efficiency, and then of course helped to to cope some of these speculators. And now part of the guideline is where they introduce two tiers of license. The first license is the tier 1 license, as it's called. They increase the minimum capital base to about 2 billion, while non-refundable license fee about 5 million. The second tier is the 500, that is number 2, capital base was increased to 500 million, and then 2 million non-refundable license fee. Now, the essence is to give these these BDCs, more room, also to streamline those speculators, and then of course to give more confidence in the system. You can see that after the some of these pronouncements, some of these policies, we've seen a decline. In fact, if not convergence between the interbank market and the parallel market, which wasn't what it was initially. And so it will not only breed confidence, it will also help increase capital base of these BDCs, and then of course give them more financial power to be able to carry out some of these their transactions.
Okay, so what you're saying, Chuka, is that if we see fewer of these bureaux de change fold, less, let's say they are able to recapitalize because of the delay in the deadline now, we're saying that this would boost dollar availability in the country?
Yeah, absolutely. If you see most of the customers that ordinarily would be skeptical or scared to go in, to do some certain transaction with the Bureau de Change, are already doing that based on the confidence. And then, of course, secondly, it will help, really cope the speculation in the market. So you really now, you're able to see the real demand, and not based on speculative demand. And then, most importantly, it will also help CBN to be able to plan. It also helps CBN to make the it will help the economy in terms of making the liquidity on FX available. Don't forget that because the system wasn't regulated, you have a lot of dollars, dollar cash out there, and that obviously is difficult for CBN to regulate. And so with this regulation, it will help CBN monitor the CDC better. It will help improve efficiency, and most importantly, bring back trust in the system.
So is there a risk that at the end of December, when December comes, that this deadline would not be met as per the amount being sought here, 2 billion for tier 1 bureau de change, and you have 500 million for the other tiers. What do you think would happen if these BDCs are unable to meet this recapitalization or this capital by the end of December? What will happen to the FX markets?
I think basically, it's not, the thing about Nigeria is that you keep changing the goalpost, and then even if you change it to next year, you see people who will default. But I think basically the aim here from CBN is that, look, we want a strong, vibrant BDC, even if it's just 10, we want them very strong and very vibrant. Yeah, some school of thought might say, okay, fine, it will increase unemployment. But again, if just like the banking sector, when banks had the capacity, financial capacity, they were able to expand. And so these BDCs, the ones that are not able to meet up the capital requirement will somehow, merge with the big boys, if I might use that word, and that will also increase increase some of their market share, increase expansion, and then in turn bring in able to increase or create more employment. Now, if it's not met by December 31st, based on this new extension, I don't think that anything will happen other than we see some of the smaller ones merge, like I mentioned earlier. And so, for me, it will bring more confidence into the system. Our FX system will be more regulated. We'll be able to see, true demand, and at the same time, we'll be able to know those who are not in line or towing the line of the guideline. Because don't forget that because it wasn't regulated, we do not have proper structure in place. So now this is bringing structure and then increase customer confidence, and then we begin to see depreciation, because I strongly believe that a lot of demand we see why dollar continues to go up, has to do with speculation. But this will really help COVID.
Okay, so there's going to be easing of pressure on the naira against the dollar, because we've seen the naira rally ahead of the Muslim holiday as against what we saw during Easter, though. But looking at it, are we going to see the naira continue to strengthen as a result of possibly what's happening with the bureau de change, or what other factor is driving the uptick we're seeing with the naira, the appreciation we're seeing, and is it going to be sustained for a long time?
I think there are a couple of factors. One is the fact that over the past few months, our external reserve has continued to grow based on the policy again put by CBN, and then of course we begin to see the real demand, not speculative demand. So all that is helping the appreciation of the naira. And then most importantly, we've seen within the past couple of weeks and months, we've seen more FPIs coming, bringing this much needed dollars, and that has helped to tame the demand, and of course that has also increased increase the appreciation in terms of the naira. So it will help in a whole lot. It will help also, of course, like I said earlier, to be able to ensure that proper structure and those who are playing in that field are able to abide by the rules. And I mean, in all ramifications, in terms of security, in the funding of some of these activities, as the security expert has mentioned over time, it will help. And then, of course, once there's improved security in the country, economic growth will begin to boom. So the larger benefits for Nigeria in terms of this policy is huge, and I believe that very soon we'll begin to see the positive effect of it.
Thank you so much, Chuka Nwachukwu, Chief Dealer and Group Head Trading at UBA. It's always good to have your perspective on the show.
Thank you.
So let's head to the Middle East now and see